Extinction was once the most absolute sentence in nature, a full stop at the end of evolution. When a species disappeared, it wasn't sleeping, hiding, or waiting to return. It was gone forever. But the animals shown in the title and thumbnail today are forcing scientists to rewrite that rule completely. For the first time in history, extinction is no longer permanent. And once you understand how close some of these animals are to returning, the line between science fiction and reality begins to disappear. Number 8. The Pyrenean ibex. In the year 2000, the Pyrenean ibex officially went extinct. The last known individual, a female named Celia, was found crushed beneath a fallen tree in northern Spain. At the time, it felt like a routine tragedy, one more species quietly erased by human pressure and habitat loss. But scientists had already done something unusual. Before Celia died, tissue samples were taken and frozen, preserving her genetic material. That decision would change history. In 2003, researchers used that DNA to clone the Pyrenean ibex using a domestic goat as a surrogate. After multiple failed attempts, a clone was born alive. For the first time ever, an extinct animal had been brought back to life. The ibex survived only a few minutes due to lung malformations, but the moment itself was revolutionary. Extinction had been crossed, even if briefly. It proved that death at the species level was no longer final. The clone failed to survive, but extinction itself had failed to hold its ground. Number 7. The quagga. The quagga once roamed the plains of South Africa in massive herds. It looked like a zebra that had been unfinished. Bold stripes at the front, fading into plain brown toward the back. By the late 1800s, excessive hunting wiped it out completely. For over a century, the quagga was considered permanently lost. Then geneticists made a discovery that changed everything. The quagga was not a separate species, it was a subspecies of the plains zebra. That meant its genetic traits were not gone, just diluted. Scientists began selectively breeding zebras that showed reduced striping and quagga-like body features. Generation after generation, the animals began to resemble the extinct quagga more closely. Today, quagga-like zebras already exist in South Africa. They are not clones, but functionally, visually, and ecologically similar to the original animal. This revealed something unsettling. Extinction doesn't always erase a species, sometimes it simply scatters it. And if appearance can be restored through breeding, imagine what happens when DNA itself is rebuilt. Number 6. The passenger pigeon. At its peak, the passenger pigeon was the most abundant bird on Earth. Billions filled the skies of North America, creating flocks so dense they darkened the sun for hours. Then humans industrialized hunting. Within decades, the species collapsed. The last passenger pigeon, named Martha, died alone in a zoo in 1914. For over a century, the passenger pigeon symbolized irreversible human destruction. Now, it represents something very different. Scientists are reconstructing the pigeon's genome using preserved museum specimens and modern band-tailed pigeons. The goal is not just resurrection, it's restoration. Passenger pigeons shaped entire forests through mass nesting, seed dispersal, and nutrient cycling. Their disappearance altered ecosystems permanently. This is one of the first de-extinction projects aimed at healing environments, not just reviving animals. But restoring ecosystems raises a darker question. What if the modern world no longer has room for them? Number 5. The Tasmanian tiger. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, was declared extinct in 1936. Its last known individual died from neglect and captivity, locked outside during freezing conditions. Humans didn't just kill the species, they documented its suffering. For decades, reports of sightings were dismissed as hoaxes or wishful thinking. Then scientists completed something extraordinary. They successfully sequenced the entire thylacine genome using preserved specimens. Unlike dinosaurs, the thylacine's closest relatives, marsupials like the Tasmanian devil, still exist today. Researchers are now editing thylacine DNA into living marsupials to recreate its genetic structure. This is not theoretical science, it is actively underway. The thylacine may become the first predator deliberately brought back to correct a human-caused extinction. But bringing back predators forces humanity to confront something uncomfortable: coexistence. Number 4. The dire wolf. The dire wolf vanished over 10,000 years ago at the end of the Ice Age. It was larger, heavier, and more powerful than modern wolves. Early humans didn't invent it, they competed with it for survival. For decades, scientists assumed dire wolf DNA was too degraded to study. That assumption was wrong. Advanced sequencing revealed that dire wolves were genetically distinct from modern wolves, diverging millions of years ago. This discovery opened the door to something radical. Biotechnology companies are now exploring how to recreate dire wolf-like animals through genome editing. The goal is not to clone an exact replica, but to restore a predator capable of fulfilling the same ecological role. This marks a turning point. De-extinction is no longer about the past, it's about rebalancing the present. And if apex predators can return, Ice Age giants may not be far behind. Number 3. The woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth disappeared around 4,000 years ago. Frozen remains preserved its DNA in extraordinary condition. Scientists now possess nearly complete mammoth genomes. Using CRISPR gene editing technology, researchers are inserting mammoth genes into Asian elephants. The result would be cold-resistant hybrids, thick fur, layers of fat, and altered blood chemistry. But this isn't about spectacle. Mammoths once trampled Arctic grasslands, preventing tree growth and slowing permafrost thaw. Without them, frozen carbon is melting into the atmosphere. Bringing mammoths back may help slow climate change, turning extinction reversal into a planetary tool. And if land mammals can reshape Earth again, the oceans won't remain untouched. Number 2. Steller's sea cow. Steller's sea cow was first documented in 1741 by European explorers in the North Pacific. By 1768, less than 3 decades later, it was completely extinct. No climate shift caused its disappearance. No natural predator overwhelmed it. Humans simply arrived and it vanished. The sea cow was enormous, reaching lengths of over 30 feet and weighing several tons. Yet despite its size, it was slow-moving, gentle, and unable to dive deeply or escape. Sailors described it as floating near the surface, grazing calmly on kelp forests. It was hunted relentlessly because it was easy, and we eliminated it before we understood what it actually did. Steller's sea cow wasn't just a large marine herbivore, it was an ecosystem stabilizer. By feeding on kelp, it prevented overgrowth, allowed sunlight to reach lower levels, and maintained biodiversity in coastal waters. After its extinction, kelp forests began collapsing. Sea urchin populations exploded. Entire coastal ecosystems destabilized. This wasn't coincidence, it was one of the earliest examples of a trophic cascade caused directly by human-driven extinction. Only centuries later did scientists connect the collapse to the sea cow's absence. Now, preserved bones and tissue samples are being analyzed for viable DNA. Because the sea cow's closest living relatives, manatees and dugongs, still exist, researchers believe partial genetic reconstruction is possible. Unlike land animals, marine de-extinction presents extreme challenges: gestation, habitat control, and long-term survival. But scientists are moving forward anyway. Because restoring the sea cow wouldn't just bring back a species, it could help rebuild entire marine ecosystems. For the first time, de-extinction is being explored not as resurrection, but as ecological repair. And yet, even this effort is only a test case, because the next animal isn't just about ecosystems, but about what extinction truly means. Number 1. The aurochs. The aurochs was the ancestor of all modern cattle. It went extinct in 1627, but unlike most extinct animals, it never truly vanished. Its DNA survives scattered across modern cows. Through selective breeding and genetic reconstruction, scientists are recreating aurochs-like animals today. These animals already exist, larger, stronger, and behaviorally closer to the original species. They graze differently, migrate differently, and shape landscapes in ways modern cattle cannot. This proves extinction doesn't always erase a species, sometimes it fractures it. And humanity has learned how to reassemble the fragments in a world where extinction is no longer final, where genetics can rebuild what humanity erased, and science is capable of restoring ecosystems thought permanently lost. The question has already changed. It's no longer about whether we can bring these animals back. It's about whether we understand what their return would reshape, the food chains they would alter, the environments they would reclaim, and the balance humanity has grown comfortable controlling. Because extinction didn't just remove animals from the planet, it rewrote the world around us. And reversing it means accepting that the future may no longer belong solely to us. What returns may not be familiar, it may not be manageable, and it may not ask for permission, but once the door is opened, it may never close again.